is to restore basic infrastructure, help to build roads, help to build water, electricity, show the population that given peaceful conditions that they are willing to invest for the future of the population there.
Right. Anjan Sundaram in Rwanda, author and award-winning journalist. Thank you for taking time to talk to us. Thank you. Well, now let's take a look at other African and global news. The Somali Money Transfer Service, Dahabshil, has won an injunction in a British court today preventing Barclays Bank from cutting its banking services. The injunction means customers who are largely from the UK's Somali community will be able to transfer money through Dahabshil for the foreseeable future. Barclays had planned to withdraw the facility amid concerns over money laundering. The bodies of two French journalists who were shot dead in northern Mali have been repatriated to Paris. Ghislaine Dupont and Claude Verlon of Radio France International were kidnapped and killed on Saturday after interviewing a local leader in Kidal. India has launched its first ever mission to Mars. A rocket carrying a scientific probe blasted off from the Bay of Bengal today. It will eventually orbit the red planet looking for signs that it could support life. Now, the risk to Kenyan tourism was one of the first concerns that officials expressed after the Westgate terror attack in September. Just hours after it happened, the Tourism Ministry rushed to reassure travelers that Kenya is peaceful and that security agencies were on high alert. Now, the attack also came on the heels of a fire that gutted a terminal at Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, a key regional travel hub. Let's now take a look at some statistics. Kenya is Africa's fifth largest tourist destination, welcoming approximately 1.8 million visitors each year. Tourism generates 14% of Kenya's GDP and employs 12% of its workforce, which is over 500,000 jobs. Now, according to Moody's investment service, the mall attack could cost Kenya's economy approximately $200 million in lost tourism revenue. But that would be bad news for the industry that's trying to recover from an almost 10% drop in visitors in the first half of 2013 due to fears of election-related violence. Well, with me now is the Phyllis Kandie, Kenya's Cabinet Secretary in the Ministry of East African Affairs, Commerce and Tourism. Thank you for joining us on Focus on Africa.
Well, thank you so much.
How do you repair a country's image that is so battered at the moment to ensure or to reassure people that things are working, that they can travel there?
Thank you very much for that question. First of all, let me start by saying that terrorism is a global issue. It's not just a Kenyan issue, and terrorism could happen anywhere in the world, as you've seen. And so for us in Kenya, we are addressing these issues both from an internal perspective and also internationally. I'm talking about internationally because we collaborate with our international partners to address the issue, because the issue is international.
This has happened. We've had the incident, of course, the Westgate attack. We've had the airport fire. We've had the insecurity, a bit of it in the coastal part of the country. What are you doing now that's different from what you've been doing before as a country, really, in terms of security?
You know, the fire that gutted one part of our international airport, really we didn't get major effects in terms of a drop in arrivals. In fact, we did respond quite quickly as a government, and I think both our neighboring countries were quite supportive and understanding in that respect. Now, the Westgate incident, unfortunately, came immediately after that. And as I've just said, it's a global issue, and we came in and quickly tried to address it again with collaboration of our international partners. But internally, as a country, we have beefed up security in all the public areas, where we think our visitors will travel to.
In your estimation, how much has this hit the tourism industry? after this Westgate attack?
Like all terrorism attacks, it will hit a country, and in the short term, you'll expect a small drop. But I think, and as we've seen it in the past, I mean, tourism is resilient. It will pick up after a while. So what we're doing now is to go out and reassure people that the government is taking security very, very seriously and really addressing the issue, not only to ensure that we've taken, we've addressed the issue for our own citizens, but also for our visitors.
Now, just a final question. Critics say that you should be looking to regional tourism. A country like Rwanda, for instance, has introduced what they call the visa-less, system for Africans. Why isn't Kenya going that direction? And why aren't you doing more of regional tourism promotion?
Let me just give you some good news. Today at the WTM, World Tourism Market, we've just announced one visa for all tourists that are visiting Kenya, Uganda, and Rwanda starting from the 1st of January 2014. So that's in response to your question. We're looking at marketing East Africa as one tourist destination. So we are looking at it from that perspective.
All right, Phyllis Kandia, thank you for taking time to talk to us.
Thank
Kenya's Tourism Cabinet Secretary. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Focus on Africa from BBC World News. A little later in the program, Peter will be here with all the sports news, including Brazilian football fans are really looking forward to seeing African teams at next year's World Cup. That's according to Ronaldo. And capturing life through a Sudanese camera lens, we take a look at the blossoming art scene in Khartoum.
If you want to know what's trending or you miss your favorite live shows, you can watch it all on our YouTube channel. Simply log on to www.youtube.com/channelsweb. Scroll down to your favorite program and click play. You can also view all uploaded videos by clicking on View All. Don't forget to subscribe and get the latest videos. If they are interesting, like them and be heard. Get connected with the channel's television YouTube page. The news at your fingertips.
I'm Sophie Ikenye, and you're watching Focus on Africa from BBC World News. The top stories on this program. M23 rebels in eastern DRC end their insurgency hours after the UN-backed government army declared military victory. And outside the continent, in the past few minutes, the international envoy on Syria, Lakhdar Brahimi, has said no date has been set for a long-awaited peace conference on Syria after a day of diplomacy intended to agree terms for the talks. You're watching Focus on Africa. Let's find out what's happening in the world of sport. Peter, take it away.
I'm a very happy man this evening, Sophie. And I'll tell you why. That's right, Nigeria's under-17 team has just qualified for the final of the World Cup, which is taking place at the United Arab Emirates. The Golden Eaglets, as they are known, just beat Sweden 3-0. That game just ended minutes ago. They'll now face Mexico, who beat Argentina 3-1 in the other semi-final. Nigeria and Mexico have already played each other in this competition. That was in the group stage, where Nigeria thrashed the Central Americans 6-1. So you could say the Golden Eaglets are favourites in that game. The Champions League resumes tonight in Europe. Manchester City host CSKA in Moscow in the reverse fixture of the game where Ivory Coast midfielder Yaya Toure was racially abused by some fans of the Russian club. City boss Manuel Pellegrini has warned CSKA fans against a repeat of that incident. Toure is expected to captain the team again tonight in the absence of Vincent Kompany, but keeper Joe Hart will remain on the bench following a string of mistakes he's made in recent games. Manchester United will be without defenders Johnny Evans and Rafael when they take on Real Sociedad in Spain. Evans has a back injury while Rafael is out with an ankle problem. In tonight's other games, Juventus host Real Madrid, knowing that a loss would make it virtually impossible to make it to the next round. Paris Saint-Germain will be without informed strike duo of Zlatan Ibrahimovic and Edinson as they host Anderlecht, while holders Bayern Munich could see off Czech side Victoria Pleasant with relative ease. Now, this man here, He remains the top scorer at the World Cup with 15 goals and is still regarded as one of the best players that ever graced a football pitch. Ronaldo, that's the Brazilian one, is helping his country to ensure they host a successful World Cup next year. And he's been in London as a goodwill ambassador for Brazil 2014. When he came into our studios, I asked him which African teams Brazilian fans are looking forward